Welcome back to another episode of the True North Weddings podcast. If I were to say this is an extra special episode, that would be an understatement. This is like an epic, most unbelievable of all time episode because we have a guest today that is, I don't know, she's just the most magical human you'll ever meet. And anyone who knows Jax Eisenmann, the sales director of Graceland Ballroom by Blackwoods, knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I have no doubt that anyone listening today is going to come away with that same feeling of, I need to know her. And whether I'm getting married at Graceland Ballroom or not, you want a little bit of Jax in your life. So I am here with Jax and with Caitlin to deliver that. And I can't wait to get into our conversation. There's no doubt in my mind it's going to be amazing. So let's get started. Welcome to True North Weddings, the podcast that helps you navigate an authentic path to your wedding day. I'm your host, Mariah McKechnie, and I'm excited to be your guide in finding your true north along the journey of wedding planning. Over the past 15 years, I've collected a wealth of wisdom and experience working with couples to not only plan an incredible wedding day, but also enjoy the process throughout the journey. I'm thrilled to have this podcast to share this knowledge with you. And on the pod, I'll feature love stories, interview wedding professionals, and give you my honest, unfiltered advice on how to follow your true north straight to the altar and enjoy every last minute of the party. So get ready for bold, beautiful, and inspiring real talk about real weddings and real challenges. Promise me you'll bring an open mind and heart as you listen. Your True North wedding is just ahead. Let's go. Hi, Jax.
Oh,
Welcome.
thank you. This is as epic as you've described that. This is just overwhelmingly wonderful. So thank you for the honor to share this time and space with you.
Well, I couldn't think of anyone
Swear.
I wanted more as a guest on our podcast than you. And I think that everyone needs a little bit of you in their life, and that you have been such an important part of my life from the beginning of my career 15 years ago in Duluth, just getting started. I'll never forget meeting you for the first time and touring the ballroom for the first time. Graceland Ballroom in Duluth is an absolute epic location in itself, but more than anything, it's about you and the team that you've curated there over the years. That is what truly stands out. And so when we were putting together a guest list, it was like when Jack says yes, we will have her, and it will be amazing. And so we're so happy that it worked out, and we're finally here with you today. So
Thank you.
let me just dive into letting the listeners get to know more about you and who you are. So I'd love, Jax, for you to share your story and how you ended up in the wedding industry and what your role is today, and just kind of take us down memory lane of who's Jax.
Oh, Lord. Well, feels like a lifetime ago. I was in the restaurant side of things, actually. And it began actually when I was in publishing downtown Duluth back in the day on First Street and Lake Avenue. I worked for Food Management magazine. Actually,
No
it would
way.
be a trade magazine I would actually get today was the one that I was working on. And after a big downsizing from 1,000 employees down to 300, we all had to vie for a few handful of jobs, and I didn't get it. I was devastated. I remember having the conversation with my father, and he said, it doesn't matter what you do in life. It's that you do the best job, no matter what it is. And so we spent a couple years expanding our family. And then I got the call from my sister, who worked in the restaurant industry and needed some help with something. And I went to assist and make some coffee. And it turns out I ended up being a door greeter for a 2-for-1 dinner promotion. It turned into a service coordinator position and working nights and all those crazy things. And 30 plus years later, here I am.
Wow.
A variety of things, to get you to that point. So to have an operations background and a humble beginning, aspects of hospitality and in all of that, that's what brings me to this very moment in time. Truly.
I didn't know that part of your story.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know you work with your sister, who is
blessed.
Shout out, also amazing.
Yeah.
And the two of you, what a dynamic team. Unbelievable. But I didn't know that it started in the restaurant and working through all those different positions. And I mean, every role you have, every role I've ever had, I've learned something that I've taken into the next thing, from the most humble job, like you said, to whatever I'm doing at the time. I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. I needed to do that to learn this.
Yeah. I call it, walk a day in my shoes sort of detail. If you, whatever you want to do, you have to walk it to truly immerse yourself and understand what are the whys, not just because I said so, but because it's, for this reason.
Yeah.
All those things.
So you ended up at Graceland Ballroom.
I did.
Blackwoods manages this unbelievable ballroom, historic.
Yeah, mind-blowing. Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
Downtown Duluth. How long has it been that you've been at the ballroom?
Oh, 17 years. And I feel like I swear it feels like maybe 5. And when I say 17, I can't believe it. I honestly cannot believe it, that it's been that long. It still feels that fresh, all of it. Yeah, 17 crazy years.
Amazing. And I mean, through that time, I just think about like how many weddings that you have literally had your heart in. Like, because nobody goes through Graceland Ballroom without getting a little piece of Jax's heart. Like, that's built and baked into the process.
Yeah, thank you. I tried to figure it out one day. I was counting out, if average of X amount of weddings and 17 years, and these are, how many potentials? Thousands, right?
Yes.
Well, then there's the thousands, if not more, I swear, of the people who've reached out in the course of those years that I've had contact with.
Yep.
All of that, those that chose a different direction.
Well, that's what's so remarkable about you, honestly. When you think about the sales process for a wedding venue or vendor of any kind, and the number of times I've heard, well, normally you often hear the sales process is frustrating, or it's, they didn't get back to me or whatever. What I hear when it pertains to Jax is, whether or not I could book that venue or they had my date or whatever, I got to talk to Jax. They literally will come away. Yes. So as a sales director, Jax interacts with people that are, shopping around looking for a venue. And whether they book or not, they will note that the time they spent with you was one of the best parts of their planning experience. And I literally have heard that. Like, that is real. So to think that you make that impression on people, whether they even book with you or not, it's remarkable. And it's what, again, why we all think that you're the queen.
Well, I'm humbled by that, Mariah, like genuinely. And to hear that, it's not forced, it's easy. And I think if people are investing their time or their heart with us, if we're lucky to be, let's say on average, 1 out of 4 venues that they're going to pursue, they're going to go one direction or the other. And the fact that we're one of them, that's an honor. They get to understand us. They get to learn our brand. They get to know who we are and what we're about, and that there are people out there in the industry, vendors and venues and people alike, that really can lean in, and that I hope that they find their love. And if we happen to be that and they come to that conclusion on their terms, then everybody wins. But, still, it's never lost. It's never lost through a process.
I've truly taken that inspiration through you and through the work that you do at Graceland into my bridal shop, which is a sister company of True North Weddings, Josephine's Bridal, in that thought that we may not have everybody's dress. That's okay. But what I can guarantee them is if they've come for an appointment or a sales call or whatever, they will leave with an experience, and that experience will be valuable in its own right. And that's my opportunity to serve, is providing that experience, and 1 in 4 will buy. And I think that's the service mindset that you and your entire team bring to the table. How do you cultivate that service mindset? Is it natural? Can you teach it? I think that's a really an interesting thing that I want people listening to understand, because as you're looking for vendors, this is really important.
Yeah, I think, it's something you have to have it within to begin with. it's not all teachable and trainable. And yet when people are immersed or around that culture or that series or that ease of it, people can adopt that easily. It feels natural. Like it's not forced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see that too. I think
Mhm.
that's something that is just it's a lot ingrained
Yeah.
in people. They
Yeah.
either kind of understand it or they don't, and not every client is looking for it.
Yeah.
But when that match happens,
Oh,
that's magical.
yeah.
Absolutely
100%.
magical. And that's where you end up just being able to make so many dreams come true on a wedding day,
Mhm.
which is what we're all in it for, right?
Yeah.
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 So let's talk about weddings.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do many events at Graceland Ballroom. So not to be forgotten are
Mhm.
so many corporate events and other things that you touch, but we focus on weddings at the True
Mhm.
North Weddings podcast. And I know you've also recently had 2 weddings of your own children.
Yes.
So I would love to hear from your experience as now mother of the couple,
Yeah.
what that was like and how did that hit you differently or what did you learn from that?
Oh man, it was so insane to say the least. I tried to play it off really cool. You know, when I got the call, I was grocery shopping and we knew our son was headed to Mexico with his beloved and we knew it was going to happen, the
Oh.
engagement aspect. And then she started texting me from Mexico, like we're, this and that and lots of questions. And I guess I was naive. I didn't think that they'd actually choose to be there, being so close to everything, but they actually chose to be at Graceland. And
That's so cool.
yeah. And so it was so wonderful to be able to say to my colleague, Callista, hey, listen, I'm going to trust you. I trust you with my life. Now I trust you with my son and his wife, right? And it was the easiest thing to step back and let them have their experience. And truly to be in this space and to walk in the shoes, here we go, right?
Yep.
Of what other people see and do. And I always try and have tried to do that. But then to actually be there in that moment in time, that it was like I was fast tracking the rest of like all these experiences and then coming back with a renewed sense. And I felt like I didn't know it all, but I had known so much. But now all of a sudden I've been given this clarity. And then we were able to change things or systems or awareness and flow aspects and a heightened sense. So it was just pure magic. And I bawled my eyes out.
Oh.
Like I sat in the
Oh.
quarters and I penned a letter on to my son, the words that I had wished for him. And so I would leave with no regrets.
Yeah.
And I cried like a baby and
Oh.
had to reapply my makeup and then it was time to, we were sitting and relaxing and talking with family and at ease with the whole process. There was never a greater time. And when it came time to walk down the aisle, I just lost it. I just couldn't keep it together. It was so rich in that I felt like the richest person on earth, the fact that I was present to be witness to love,
Yeah.
and all of that. And it changed me even more so that I was like, what?
There's something so
Yeah.
poetic about the fact that the wedding happened in
Mhm.
the place that you have
Yeah.
been facilitating
Yeah.
these weddings for all this time, right? And like we're always so meaningful. And then now all of a sudden you're in those shoes and getting to feel it all for yourself. Like
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. That could have gone different ways for different people, right? Like
Mhm.
some people might have taken that and it was more stressful.
Yeah.
They couldn't let it go. They couldn't.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for being able to take that hat off and to your team for being able to allow that for you so you could truly experience it.
Yeah.
But then also like kudos to your son for giving you that chance, whether he even realized it and his wife. Like
Yeah.
what a magical opportunity as a business person and as somebody in their job they love to go, oh, how could we even do it better based on
Yes.
this
Right.
experience?
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to tell you that our son said, "Hey, listen, if you and Auntie get up and move a plate, that's it. We're that like that's not going to happen." So
Yeah, he
we had
gave
that.
you
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
the
he gave
marching
us that.
orders.
Oh, it was. Yeah. That was so great.
That's
I
pretty
loved
cool.
that. Yeah.
I know that's just changed for you, like the way that you look at the whole experience now. And
Completely.
I think there isn't anything that you do though that you don't learn from
Mm.
and that you don't then apply to whatever's
Yeah.
next. And that is, another reason why you're amazing and can continue to support and help people in wherever they're at in the process of getting married and holding a wedding potentially at Graceland Ballroom.
Yeah.
Like you're always looking for that, how to enhance life and find more joy.
Thank you. Joy is everything, especially to the parents. I say, give me a call. I'll help you. Like, I can help you
Yes.
live your best life. Like, you've got maybe 9 months to 14 months. What's keeping you up at night? Here's the magic
Yeah.
ticket. Here's the Willy Wonka. Just listen. I can share with you, these things.
What a gift. What a
Yeah.
gift that you would offer that to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because in those moments when they're signing the checks and they're committing to the wedding day, and I'm sure you can see in their eyes, like all the anxiety and
Yeah.
fear of what's going to happen here. And to have you sitting there, like looking at them and saying, call me, I can
Yeah.
help. That's an unbelievable offer.
Yeah. It's crazy and it's real. And I think those are the unspoken conversations. It's more than food and space. It really is. And
Yeah.
my sister asked me once, Julie said, what drives you? I think it's important that people understand why,
Mm-hmm.
because we really believe we can make a difference. And that's all, if that's the case.
It's that something more. It's just something
Yeah.
greater. And that's a theme I look for in everything. It's like, it's more than just the centerpieces.
Mhm.
It's more than,
Yeah.
any of the food and space and stuff. It's
Yeah.
about the energy that happens in the room when we're all together and in celebration. Like that's an alchemy that with the right people in place is pretty memorable.
Better believe it. And when my daughter got married, her journey in determining that, they ended up sort of canceling everything and going back to the basics, like, why are we doing this? And went to the courthouse.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was, I got the message and it was pure joy and celebration, for them on their journey in all of that. And then later said, hey, listen, we want to celebrate you and the community that loves and supports you too. So let's do that. And so we had a great Wisconsin sort of little getaway in a tavern and just did, the things that they love and surrounded them with people that love and support them. And that was a whole different vantage point.
Yes.
And there were 2 points in my life that I was profoundly changed. And it was after each of our kids married off. And it's indescribable. Until you experience it, it's the most beautiful thing on earth. Most beautiful thing. To hand the baton and say, fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
So-
go make a family and a life of your own and to get to do that so beautifully and gracefully and in very different stories.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Mhm.
really neat that you had that experience too and understanding that not everybody wants the ballroom wedding.
No.
It's not for everybody. And
Hey.
that doesn't mean it isn't going to turn out amazing in the tavern.
Exactly. And there, we had 3 months between the two.
Oh my
So
goodness.
like swear, how do you be where your feet are is a true
Yeah.
thing that I say quite often, and then had to exercise or not had to, got to exercise that ability. Yeah.
That's really
Profound.
cool. Really profound. One thing that I often hear you say, and we've talked about as we're working on clients together.
Yes.
Jax is always able to recognize when a client might need an extra special set of hands, and that's ours, mine, and Caitlin's, and will often introduce us to clients where she really feels like we can guide them in some of the planning beyond just what she's able to help with at the ballroom and through the Graceland family. And it's something you say is that we're not just a one size fits all model, and that what truly is different about you and Graceland is your willingness to think outside the box, be creative, problem solve, and recognize like there's a different solution for everything. Talk about that a little bit. How you got there and what that looks like. And
Yeah. So there are times when you know that the dreams and wishes or their wants and desires are greater than what we can provide. And that's when we turn to those that can bring it. And it's so easy to determine that. Prior to, a few years back, we didn't have as much involvement. And now we're seeing couples that want and desire things that are achievable, but through the hands of others and in just ways that can just make it effortless. And I'm so grateful that we can turn to the talents of people like yourselves, that there isn't ever a thought or worry in my mind. I just feel more at ease. It's like an added insurance and policy to achieve dreams.
That's what
the
we
dream
always
maker.
say.
Yeah.
We're like an insurance policy on your dreams.
Oh, tell me about it. Like, that is for real. If they can dream it, if they can see it in their mind's eye, then you bring it to life. Like, that's for real. And that's when it changed it for us, when it took it to the next level. Like, we can provide the scene and then you can bring it to action, beyond. And that's the dream makers. I mean, I'm sitting here in greatness,
goodness.
with the two, like, we talk about that, and you're so kind in speaking about me as myself and all of this, but I am nothing without the team. Yeah. And I would never be able to do what I do today or even be here tonight without everybody's piece in that. And those are the ones that are better and greater and beyond us. You are the ones that make us greater and better. And I must give you all kudos and praise. Like, truly, I mean that.
Well, it's a partnership. And that's what makes it most enjoyable, is doing it together and being like, we nailed it. Like,
having a team to celebrate with. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it isn't every venue that you go to where we might hear a client's dreams and they are out of the box and they require planning and, just things that aren't normal or, that are really cool. And some venues are a hard no or not interested in figuring out how to make that happen. And so when we have a vendor partner who is as committed as we are to saying, maybe we can make that work. Let's talk about what it looks like. What would be required? Like, knowing that I can go to the table with a client and say, let's just ask. Yeah. Let's lay out our thought. Let's lay out our vision and see what they think. And that will be received with excitement and possibility. And it never looks like the first rendition, because I always recognize too, like, if a venue doesn't think this is going to work, I'm listening to that. It's a difference between like, let's do it a little bit differently versus no, we're a one size fits all situation. And that is out of our box and we couldn't possibly. And I've had that happen and it's a
little jarring.
It's like, but let's have some fun here. So I've always loved every time I've brought you a different layout or floor plan, or could we do the ceremony on this end of the room? Or what if we flipped it sideways and did it with this door as a background? The answer is, let's look at it. Let's consider it. Let's give it a shot. And we've done some cool things.
Oh, right. And we're not done doing cool things.
Oh my gosh. Bring us all the cool things. We are excited to do them. So yeah. And that is really a special quality of what you bring in your team, to being willing to think about what are the possibilities.
Right. Well, thank you for that. And, the real thanks and gratitude goes to our leadership beyond that have conditioned us, right? Yes. So I look at that mentorship from Julie Thorson, who's co-owner of the business. And it's she's our due north in that. And that the answer is yes. The question's what? That mentality to say, okay, maybe just take a moment and pause, take that deep breath, and then open up your mind. Just open. You can't or you won't. These are internal voices that I'm hearing in my head through that process. In my younger years, I was the no person. I was
really?
There were times for sure.
Interesting.
For sure. Like the growth is like, oh man, we can send a man to the moon. Okay, they can do that. what? You can't turn the table this way? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, well, okay. You know, like, okay, let me think about it. There might be some things that don't logistically work, like a flying monkey across the center of the ballroom, like, you know.
Let's really think about if that's necessary and what are we going to get out of it? What's the ROI?
Right.
Like there are some evaluations that have to be done.
For sure. Yeah.
Could we just slide this table over here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's give it a shot.
Let's see. What if we just turn this just ever so slightly?
It's that abundance mentality. We talk about that a lot in our businesses. That is a topic that I am passionate about. We live so much in scarcity, and the damage that does is unfortunate, because if you flip that switch into abundance, all of a sudden all the possibilities become available to you. And the next steps are so exciting. And we talk about that with our clients all the time. It's just to look at their wedding as an abundant resource versus a scarce resource, which often is a topic in an expensive situation, right? And they get caught in the expense and not in the abundance of what they're really putting together. And so I think that's, again, something to look for in your vendors. Are they abundantly thinking? Do they see all the possibility in the work that you're doing together versus are they only willing to provide you a scarce set of resources? Nope, I'm only going to be here at this time and with this many hours and I'm out. Like it's an important thing to think about. And as anyone listening that's planning a wedding, what is the abundance that you are working with versus the limited scarcity that you are treating it as? And that's something that I know that you believe in too.
Yeah.
I'm remembering as we're sitting here, I'm having all these flashbacks of the different couples that you've handed me, and often moms. Yeah. Others are the brides or grooms where you've recognized that it could be a helping hand. And I'm thinking about like just that call, like when Jax calls, like, okay, I'm stepping up to bat. Yeah. Who is it? And then those relationships that I've been able to form and we've been formed together. And there were the two of us are standing at the end of the night, like everybody survived. Yeah. That was magical. Those are the memories that will live on. I mean, I still talk to so many of those moms. Yes. Yeah. I'm connected to them forever and to those couples. And I'm sure you are too. Like it's been really cool. And I'm really grateful for those introductions to be able to say like, okay, I'm ready to step up to the plate and make sure this experience goes well. And Caitlin too is now doing even more of the weddings for True North Weddings than I'm even doing. And it's so nice to know that the same opportunity can be tossed her way and she's willing to step up and take a swing.
Well, absolutely. I remember my first wedding ever was assisting Mariah at Greysolon Ballroom.
No way.
I forget about that.
I do not. I think about it all the time. And I think that was a great way to be introduced to the world of weddings, to be under Mariah's wing at Graceland Ballroom with you and your team and being able to see what a quality service-minded staff can do, where it's not a no, it's a yes and how. And that was so important and so influential for me when learning and stepping into the wedding world in general.
Caitlin, watch what they're doing and what they're saying. Emulate that. Can't go wrong. Okay.
Writing notes sounds good. Yeah, but that was an amazing day, an amazing couple, and just a great experience.
Love that. That's humbling to hear those beginnings and, and how that all plays in. We learn so many times, over the course of many years, like what to do from things in all of that. And sometimes those painful learning moments don't go lost, They get us in a direction.
It's all part of the bigger story. And that first wedding Caitlin worked with me, she was kind of attached to me ever since. So
well, you didn't.
I didn't let her get very far away. I was like, yeah, let's clear schedule. You're gonna be spending the summer by my side, and
that is quite literally what happened in the parking lot behind Graceland Ballroom. She goes, "I'm changing your schedule," and I go, "Oh no." She goes, "You're working with me." So it was the start to something great. And I mean, here we are now. I work in Mariah's closet and see her every day. And it all started with, a wedding at Graceland Ballroom.
Thank you.
Magical.
That. I'm glad that happened.
I know.
Right?
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I want to switch gears here a little bit and talk about what are you seeing in couples that are coming to you and this wedding season and future wedding seasons, booking out ahead. Like, what's the vibe? What's the tone of the couples that you're meeting with? What are they?
Oh, I'm seeing, the couples that seem to be coming in now have really their guests in mind, the guest experience.
Oh,
Like that
yay.
is really paramount. And it's about the right people, staying connected and caring in that way. That just seems to be the anthem that I hear.
I love that.
Yeah, and they're not, it seems to be that there are more, the booking window typically, a handful of years ago was maybe 10 to 14 months. And now
Okay.
we're seeing like 7 to
Mhm.
14. So there's
Okay.
a shorter window, they're getting, are looking to figure that out. Yeah. And, the couples are making the plans and then the
Mhm.
parents, for the most part, at our venue, we're seeing a lot of assistance and help. But for those that don't get the assistance and help, are looking for a more organic, smaller experience,
Okay.
and then choosing some better value. Well, there's great value in all directions, but lesser financials. So wanting to, have the bigger honeymoon and other
Yeah.
things, or buying
Yep.
the house. They're
Mhm.
juggling a lot of things right now. So we're seeing a lot of movement between the 2 rooms in that way and budgets,
And
Mhm.
just when you talk about that, so that's a beautiful thing about the ballroom too, or
Mhm.
about Graceland,
Yeah.
is that you have 2 different spaces
Yeah.
that you can flex between based on the size of the group. And what I'm hearing is that couples are having to have those hard choices about we only have this much to spend and
Mhm.
we have all these competing interests. And so rather than have the big wedding that exhausts all the resources, we'll
Yeah.
have the smaller wedding, maybe move to the smaller space
Yeah.
and have something left over for the honeymoon.
Oh, and
Mhm.
also expand to achieve the dream status, right?
Yes.
So this is where you come into play. Your team comes
Yeah.
into play where
Mhm.
they can get the
Smaller
assistance.
group,
Yeah.
more
but-
resources, better overall
Experience.
experience
completely.
versus 350 people maxes out the
Mhm.
budget, bare
Yeah.
minimum.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. All of that.
I remember 15 years ago when I started doing weddings in Duluth thinking, I hope we get to this point. Like, here we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Because I think,
yeah.
back over all these years and all those people and all that, just mentality around what
Mhm.
weddings were. And I really credit the pandemic for having
Yeah.
kind of shifted that
Mhm.
mindset a bit. But I like that we're getting here because I do think that calculation about the expense and
Mhm.
how to spend it and what is your value and how to get the max value
Yeah.
is where I always wanted people to get
Yes.
Yeah.
because the memories are made in that delta of value and experience
Mhm.
and not in the most people you could possibly invite.
Oh, completely. And we're seeing where, for us on our side of it, we created different, guest count aspects to look at this space or that space. And we really opened up those boundaries to work through. It can be 120 upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before it was really a little bit more of a hard line. You
Yep.
have a space that can accommodate. In a conversation that I had just this past week, we had a group that chose a better budget range in the smaller room of the 2, which is more luxe, I think, in many ways. But they did that so that they could take 50% of what would have been the budget otherwise to invest in
The
the
overall.
supporting crew
Mhm.
to achieve those things. So, I mean, they're really looking at helping people work through figuring out the best value of their dollar spent,
Yeah.
in that.
That's exactly what we do in
Mhm.
our role as wedding
Yeah.
planners is help them figure out how to divide up the pie. I've always said like the wedding is a pie chart
Mhm.
and what, gets a bigger piece of the pie is really based in your values and what's important to you. Obviously there's things that need to be in the pie and I love that as a venue you can also support that conversation and say like it's not a one size fits all
Mhm.
in a lot of different ways
Right.
Mhm.
and that you can present them options to go different directions from a value perspective. That's huge.
Completely.
And it, again, like back to what we were saying earlier about, it's not like you don't necessarily remember what was on the table, but you're going to remember the feeling that you had from the day and the emotions. And so how can we focus on that and have the budget align with that? Like that's always what I want people to come away with more than anything.
Completely. And I think too, with what we're doing, that includes food. Our packages, it really has gone to that direction in dessert and other aspects that conversations are like, wait a minute, you have a $6,100 package in the Moorish room. That's what the value of, the rent, just to rent a space, in the Twin Cities. Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's insane.
Yep.
So the inclusive aspect is creating that ease so that they can focus on the other fun things. Right.
I really like that
Yeah.
because I think that the decision fatigue around weddings
Oh.
is tremendous. We've done
Absolutely.
other episodes on burning out because you're making too many decisions and you're bogged down with like things that are really not that important. And I know when couples are combing through a menu and then it's like, well, can we have appetizers? What about dessert? It's too much. Like give them some easy options that include all the things that they could need. They can enhance it in other ways.
Completely.
But to not have to be stressed about those really minute decisions is a blessing.
Yeah.
And I think what you just said about the value of here, Duluth, your venue in particular, versus say the Twin Cities, which is the next larger market outside of us, it's always been why Duluth is such a gem.
Yeah.
Like we are 2+ hours north of the Twin Cities, and our wedding market is so robust. We have everything you need, but you're not going to have to spend an arm and a leg to have a phenomenal experience. So shout out to anyone listening from the Twin Cities. If you are looking, come north for a spectacular venue. I mean, I know there are people that come and get married in the ballroom from all over because it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. And then at a tremendous value as well. Like it's a no-brainer. I could sell it all day long. But I think that's an important point is just like in Duluth, we have some pretty special things happening at a great price point and no shortage in the vendor community to make those dreams happen.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Oh, it's so fun. We could go on all day. And I'm like, we could do a whole episode where we just reminisce on stories of weddings that we've done together. And we recently collaborated on a photo shoot together too that I'm so excited. It's going to be in Minnesota Bride Magazine. That's a really special just honor for all of us that participated to have our work featured in our state and like actually show this to the people in the cities and beyond that might be interested in coming to Duluth because it's special for so many reasons. And Graceland's right across the street from the lake.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always thought like people undervalued how close you were to the lake. And when we sort of connected the park, the Gitchioda King Park is literally across the street. You can get to lake views for the photos. Huge.
Yeah. Twilight's insane.
Oh my
Absolutely
gosh.
insane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a bus or a limo to get there.
No.
It's really steps away from the front door and then the North Shore Marquee next door. Like you step outside and you have all of the outdoor experience that you need. You step inside and it's like a magical world.
Completely. And, when I think about all those things and bringing the light and everything into the what's happening, we went through renovation in the windows. I don't think you've seen them yet.
No. What?
Teaser. Can't wait to get you there.
Do we need to take a field trip?
We need to take a field trip.
Yeah. Swing on by if you can tomorrow.
Well,
even.
all of the renovations you've done in the past 5 years have been incredible. Unearthing the tile floors. I mean, things that, I'm all about as someone who's become obsessed with historic building renovation. Right. But those are just to see that your continued investment in that historic building is also really, really amazing.
Yeah, I want to say a huge thank you because it's a labor of love. And what we're doing is leaving a legacy behind. Yeah. And, we have something special coming up in the fall also. Yeah, just going to say.
What?
And yeah, all kinds of cool things. And there's a paint can open right now. And so everything's getting just a beautiful little attention into all of those details. And I think that in part, this is why it never gets old.
Yeah.
Like the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Truly, it really is.
I totally get that. I love that just continuously reinvesting in something old and established never gets old.
Yeah.
It just leaves you, I don't know. That's how I feel about the Bagley building too. So
There's always something.
yeah,
this
there's
is
always
glorious.
something to shine up. So Jax, this has been so wonderful, and we
Thank
could talk
you.
to you forever. And what I just want people to do is consider the Graceland Ballroom, either the ballroom or the Moorish Room, as a potential location for holding their special event, weddings, corporate. You have an amazing bridal shower package too.
Yes.
That is something. Tell more about that, because I just want people to hear this. It's perfect.
Well, for all the couples that didn't choose us, they still want the Graceland experience, right?
Yes.
So that's why we designed this package. It's a $2,000 inclusive package up to 50 guests. It's sort of a brunch style mimosa, little parfaits of fruit, cups, and gloriously designed Moorish room with decor and linens. And I mean, you walk in and you live your best life. I mean, just let everyone celebrate you. And so, if they come to us and they're like, well, we want that, but we didn't do the whole thing, or we were going someplace else. And we're like, hey, that's great, but let's do this. And let's do this. Right. So
yeah, you can still have that experience just for another aspect of your wedding journey, your experience. Yeah.
And another package coming out that will be a welcome package, sort of that welcome. So you could do like a full
party.
Yeah, your welcome party, your rehearsal, your groom's dinner, whatever you want to call it. We love the welcome. Welcome everyone to town and then experience that. So if you're doing the upstairs experience in the ballroom, then have that logistic vibe and feel like, you have arrived, and do that and do a
I love the preview aspect of that. That's got my wheels turning, because if your guests are staying at the Sheraton or across the street at the Intrepid,
absolutely,
they're in the general downtown Duluth area, then you want to have your rehearsal dinner somewhere in the vicinity too. And if they come to the Moorish Room on the lower level, that's like a preview of
sneak peek.
This is really cool. Have your dinner there. And then the next night they're upstairs in the main ballroom for the big
you better
shebang.
believe it. Yeah. It's like when we did our son's wedding, we did the welcome in the Moorish Room and expanded the list for those that were coming the night before.
Yep.
And we did that whole thing, and we did a supper club vibe, Wisconsin supper club. It was just,
it
was like
that.
old fashions abound and all those fun things. So this is where you can really be more playful in carrying off different aspects, but really create that full on,
and where everything is close by.
Yeah.
Nobody has to
all of it.
Rent a car.
to drive. Everything is walkable. They're
It's a
right
dream.
downtown.
Yeah.
They're across the street from Lake Superior. It's all right there, and being handled by the people that you already trust with your wedding day. So
Absolutely.
I love that. And I love that you're packaging that in a way that makes it easy for people to say yes to it.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like there's so many exciting things to come, and we need to get over there and have a little visit. And yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for sharing that with us today. And we're always down to head down the street and visit the girls at Graceland. So
absolutely.
yeah. Thank you for being an inspiration to me, to my team, to thousands of couples and family over the years. You've made a mark and a legacy in Duluth weddings and events. And I'm just happy to be able to continue to be by your side and doing this together.
There's no one else I'd rather do it with. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I mean
And
that.
thank you for everybody listening today in this amazing conversation. If you want a little piece of Jax, go ahead and plan an event at Graceland Ballroom. Call her up and get that bridal shower or wedding scheduled, and just know that whatever you do from the minute you enter the ecosystem of Graceland, you're going to have the best experience without a doubt. So appreciate you. You always say that, and I get to say it back to you. So
Bless you, Mariah. And thank you, Caitlin.
thank you for joining me on another episode of the True North Weddings podcast. I hope today's conversation has filled your heart with inspiration and excitement for your journey down the aisle. Remember, love is the compass that guides us all, and I'm here to help you navigate that every step of the way. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. And until next time, keep following your true north. And if you need a little bit more help along the way, you can always find me at truenorthweddingsduluth.com. Remember, just by listening to this podcast, you're already pointed in the right direction.